We found two new homes built by a top luxury home builder in Kansas City, and they're both under $800,000. These homes are located in South Olathe, brand new phase of an established community called Stonebridge. They've got like 4 different pools, amenities are already in, and these are the brand new lots. Now, this is the second home we're going to show you. Absolutely beautiful elevation, loaded with a ton of upgrades. And this builder builds anywhere from the 5 to 600s all the way up to over $3 million. But we're going to start with house number 1, which is the Layla by Walker Custom Homes. 1.5 story plan featuring 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 2,500 square feet. It's on just under a half-acre lot that backs to a tree line, and it comes in just under $725,000.
All right, come on in here, Nick.
All right, Jordan, you know it's a good video when we've got a wall of windows, 2-story ceilings in just the first house. Really quickly, before we start, they're doing some work outside and you might hear in the background. We've been waiting months to get in here and it's finally nearing completion.
Yep, Walker Custom Homes. So normally builds on the Missouri side. He's over here to Kansas now and we're just dying to get in. So this is a spec home. It's for sale and it has some amazing level of finishes. But if you stick around for house number 2, they just took it to a whole nother level. Now, starting with the entry, you've got the 2-story ceilings and then massive transom window above the door. You've got the 2 side lights and then 3 panes of glass.
It just feels huge. And what I really like, Jordan, the catwalk. Very nice look. That is one characteristic of a 1.5 story like this plan that I know a lot of you are looking for, but how about this staircase here?
Yeah, second big thing about the entry, you've got the staircase off to the side. The stairs are tucked over, so as soon as you open the door, they're not sticking out in front and taking up a bunch of space. It's curved, which is rare. We don't always see that. And then I love how they did this trim work around the staircase.
Yeah, so Jordan, you made the great point at the beginning of this that this is a spec home, and you know some builders, they're not going to include it. It's going to be pretty bare bones. To see this, if you were to add this to just a bare bones home, it probably costs thousands and thousands of dollars to do. So really nice look.
Now with a 1.5 story floor plan, you have the master on the main level, and because of this, we typically see the soaring 2-story ceilings or a loft on the second floor. And sometimes in rare cases, we'll see both of those things. Now, my favorite part about this living room, it's this fireplace, Nick. I mean, floor to ceiling. I love the color of that stone and it has the mortar in it. I just think it's an awesome look.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, we're going to point out some of these upgrades. Those built-ins at this price point, unbelievable. They're extra wide. They go fireplace to wall. And then you've got floating shelves there as well. We'll see something very similar in house number 2, but they are all lit up. And Jordan, the last thing that I want to point out here before the kitchen, look at the patio placement. We're not going to go out there. We don't want to disturb the work going on, but sometimes in these plans, the patio is placed right behind this wall of windows, which cuts out the row up top. In this plan, they did it right. So you get that full natural light coming in.
Yeah, very, very good look. And while you're talking about the patio, he's working out there, so we don't want to invade his space, but extra wide sliding double doors. Good size space. Obviously, it's not staged in here, but you could easily fit, you know, a 6-seater table. And I love the chandelier.
Now, what makes both of, like this entire wall of the house even better, you get the extra wide slider, you get the big wall of windows. This actually backs up to a tree line, which we're getting to in season. At some point, we're gonna have some leaves back there. It makes it very private for a price of what, $725?
Yeah, $725. And what's nice about Stonebridge South, there's no drive-through roads. Every lot is going to be on a cul-de-sac, which is very rare to see because usually cities will require pass-through roads. You can't just have a bunch of cul-de-sacs that you can't get in and out of.
So that cuts down the congestion quite a bit. The other nice thing about this is part of the Stonebridge communities. So there are like 4 or 5 different ones at this point. There's Stonebridge Point, Stonebridge Trails, Park, and then
the Meadows.
The Meadows, and then finally Stonebridge South. The major difference is that amenities are already in. You've got 4 different sets of amenities across the street, but because you're secluded around the corner, you're not dealing with the amount of congestion that might be over there, given that they do have road streets there. So that's a really big deal.
Yeah, there's 2 clubhouses already built out and then 4 different pools to choose from. Nick, the kitchen.
I know.
We got to get to the kitchen.
I know. Cabinets to the ceiling. You got this huge island. Again, that kind of brown color that we saw, like chocolate brown color we saw on the fireplace built-ins. And I mean, for the price, they spent quite a bit of money on this quartz slab.
Yep, huge island. You've got the darker double sink here. And then stacked microwave and oven. And Nick, there's actually 3 tones in here. You've got the white cabinets, and then I love how they did the stain on the hood. Just this little trim piece.
And look at that shiplap up there too.
And the shiplap. And then the cabinets up top, they open, what would you say, vertically? Or horizontally?
Yep. So you've also got these ceramic vertically laid tiles on the backsplash, 5-burner range. And then house number 2, just wait. I know a lot of you want to see that kitchen prep area near the pantry. This one has a little bit of it. But wait till you see house number 2 in this video, because that one is incredible. And then Jordan, right back here, we've got garage entry.
Yep, the garage entry, you do have a mud bench here with a few coat hooks, and then the half bath, I'll squeeze it, it's a little tight, half bath for the main floor.
I like that they added the 2 floating shelves and that niche back there. And of course, you've got that same higher level countertop with the upgraded faucet there. Now, why don't we head to the master? But real quick, I do want to point this out. You do have a coat closet. So Jordan, the master, before we get to it, a lot of 1.5 stories these days, you're going to have 2 beds on the main floor. So you'll have the master and a guest bedroom. We don't have a guest bed on this floor, but we do have 3 upstairs.
Yep, 3 bedrooms upstairs. 1 has an ensuite bath and the other 2 Jack and Jill. But you do have a little linen closet here in the hallway, which is always nice. You can't have enough storage. And then huge master bedroom. I love the wall of windows. Huge picture window in the middle, sliders on the side, black on black. You'll see that in house number 2 as well. And Nick, what do you think of that box vault?
I like it. There's a lot going on. You got the shiplap up top. We're going to see something very similar in that second house, just like you mentioned. And then I love the vertical trim here. But we're going to this is really it's a pretty big room. I know it's not staged. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's a pretty good size.
So French doors leading into the master bath. I love seeing the French doors. And this bathroom is very, very impressive. So you do have the freestanding tub, trim, block trim all the way around it, super high, and the picture windows up above. So you're getting that natural light, but they're up high. You no need to frost them or anything like that. And Nick, I know this shower, we love seeing this. If you're gonna build a home, I would highly recommend you adding this feature, 0 entry shower. So no threshold to trip over. You do have a built-in bench. There's a niche in there.
I like that accent. There's a lot going on, but it stands out very nicely. The 0 entry, that matters a lot. We normally don't see it until you get up to the 900s, sometimes like the upper 800s, and sometimes not even over $1 million. Like we walk through like 1.3, $1.4 million houses that don't have that.
Yeah.
That is impressive to see.
Yeah, I think it's a must-have. So you do have the double wide vanity here, drawers in the middle. You kind of have that chocolate color that we saw in the living room. And then I love the upgraded light fixtures as well. And this closet, very impressive. Similar to home number 2 that you're going to see shortly, but they've got the upgraded rods in here. You have the enamel paint. And Nick, I like how they trimmed out the front of all these shelves.
Frame shelves, yeah. And then look at all of it. Oh my goodness, let me get around the corner here. Oh my goodness, Jordan, look at all this shoe storage.
Yeah, ton of storage, built-in storage. They've got the stain here. It just costs extra to do that. Plus, it's a better look, and it just keeps going.
Oh, you've got another one right there. Yeah. This is incredible for $725.
Yeah, a lot of value in this home. Coming around the corner, we head into the laundry room off the master closet. You do have some nice built-in cabinets up top with the shelf. The other really nice thing is the placement. It's the door into the entry is right across from the stairwell, so you can service all the bedrooms upstairs.
And the reason that's important is because anything under like 850, 900 in this area, you're usually not going to have a laundry closet upstairs. So the positioning of that laundry room is like the next best thing you could do. The post going upstairs, these are huge. These are like twice as big as the ones we normally see.
Yeah, those are extra wide posts for sure.
Now, house number 2, they did a really interesting design with paint and trim. You'll have to stick around for that one, but I like how this wraps right around the trimmed out wall back here. You've got the sconces, which provide some light, especially in the evenings. And then really the big piece of this upstairs is the catwalk. So you get this entirely different perspective on the entire main floor. But we're actually gonna start down here. We've got 3 bedrooms up here. This has a private bath. The 2 behind Jordan, they've got a shared Jack and Jill bathroom. So as we go through this, I do want to talk a little bit about the builder. We've already mentioned a few things, quite a few upgrades throughout this house, but like just an example, in this price point, 2 casement windows. Those are very high quality windows that we typically see when you get to 9, 1 million, etc. But they've done quite a few luxury properties around the Lee Summit area, Lake Winnebago. They've got some of the most expensive new construction listings on the market right now. Those are the renders that you're seeing on the screen. But here we'll get a little shot of the private bathroom.
Private bathroom with a walk-in closet, which is nice having it inside the bathroom. That way it eliminates the door space inside the bedroom. Better placement of furniture.
That's right. So the nice thing about this builder, and the reason we're showing you both a spec home as well as a model, like we will here in just a second, so you can see the major difference. I mean, the versatility of being able to do something in like the 600 price point, as well as the 3 million plus price point, very, very impressive. Most builders usually stick to one end of that range and don't do all of them. So that's why we're so excited about this. But again, casement window, even in the back of the house, this is or the side of the house. This is where builders may put something like a single hung to save some money. But like we mentioned, walk-in closets in all of the bedrooms. And Jordan, let's take a look at the Jack and Jill.
Yeah, the Jack and Jill pocket door on each side to save some space. What's really nice, you do have the double vanity sink here, and that's a quartz countertop with undermount sinks, which sometimes spec homes and maybe even at this price point, you might see cultured marble.
But we are going to head over to house number 2. It is called the Heather, also by Walker Homes. Comes in just under $800,000. It's 4 beds, 4 baths, 3,081 square feet. And it's on a daylight lot, but has a walk up, walk out lower level. One of our favorites, a sunken patio. All right, Jordan, come on in.
All right, this home is absolutely stunning. I mean, we're talking like $1 million value at under $800,000.
Yeah, there are like a number of upgrades in this house that we don't see until you get to 1 million plus, which I know we spent a lot of time in house number 1 explaining how that's really impressive for the 2-story ceilings, 1.5 story. This takes it up a whole new gear. So starting with the entry, similar kind of contrasting theme in this house compared to house number 1. You got the black door, 4 panels of glass, the transom windows up top, the side lights, and then Jordan, I know this is one of your favorite accents for the ceiling.
Yeah, so you have the box vault ceiling there with the modern crown molding and the engineered hardwood that matches the floor. I think it's an awesome look. Plus the gold light fixture just flows really, really well.
Now, floor plan will be put on the screen right here. To your right, we've got the master suite. It kicks all the way out through here. This is the laundry room. And then to your left, very interesting setup. We've got a full bath right down the hall, guest bedroom tucked behind the garage, and then a beautiful pantry. One of the best we've seen under $800,000. We're gonna get to the deck. The deck, it's loaded as well, but we're gonna get started with the fireplace. This is not tile. We are not quite sure what material it is. It feels like maybe a plaster or very specific type of paint. Very neat look to it. And then you've got these darker stains, which Jordan, I know you've been really liking some of the stains we've seen recently.
Yep, so I do like the darker stains. I've noticed that Walker seems to do that a lot. The dark windows, the darker doors and stains and cabinets. He does a really good job on it. Plus, they're built-in floating shelves. They have the downlighting, built-in cabinets. It's a good look.
Yeah, and I like that they took these from fireplace all the way to the end of the wall. Just fills in the whole space, makes it look great. The other thing that I want to mention is the fixtures in here, like the fan. I mean, Jordan, take a look at the blades there. We got the gold, the black, the dark stain.
That is so cool. You can almost see the wood grain in it. Or you can see it.
Yeah, so we will get to the deck here in a second. That's very impressive. I mean, the deck alone, I think puts this house in a whole different category. Waterfall Island. We rarely see this at this price point. We've also got outlets that pop up. Very interesting. We've only seen those a couple times, only once in the island, I believe. But this is a very beautiful top. We don't know if it's soapstone or quartz. Definitely does not look like granite or quartzite. So very nice look, but they've carried it on to the perimeter. And Jordan, I know what stands out to you are two things. The backsplash.
Yep, you got the big tile backsplash. It's polished. It's just pops out at you. It almost looks like a slab. And then you've got the two-tone hood. I think that's a very good look.
I knew you were going to pick that one up. And if you keep back it up a little bit, you'll see the island, same deal. I love the stain color there. And the specific species, I don't know if this is oak or what kind of wood this is, but the grain really shows through, which is great.
Yeah, the grain really pops. It flows really well with the hardwoods, and it kind of looks like a white oak almost.
Yeah, so we will come back to the deck before we hit to the master bedroom, we'll come back. You do have a separate door and exit onto the deck right here, but dining room, very good size for this plan. You've got the 3 black windows, black on the inside and the outside. And then look at this. We've got a very interesting accent wall, but you can tell that the top of it was knockdown texture. So Jordan, if you could see in between those grooves there.
Yeah, you've got the knockdown between the grooves, between that trim work. It's very neat. I don't think I've seen that yet. Very cool pattern.
Yep, and then the 3 windows, they give you a lot of light and they just pop because you've got all this contrast going on throughout the house. Coming this way, you've got extra perimeter space right here for air appliances, the stacked microwave and oven. And everything from here on out is tucked behind the kitchen, which I know we could make a big deal of. But this is just impressive. It's jaw-dropping is what it is.
Yeah, pantry is stunning. So you have the sink, you've got the quartz countertop built in there for a little wine cooler, mini fridge. And what do you think about that tile, Nick?
Very, very interesting. It's like a glass kind of metallic look on the edges. I think it really just pops. But you also have perimeter space, floating shelves on the right side. And then that's not the end of the pantry. You've got more cabinet space back there.
More cabinet space with a pocket door. So nice and easy access. Door stays out of your way. I like that.
And then coming around the corner to your left, we've got the guest bedroom / office. To your right, we've got the garage entry, the boot bench. You've got a huge tower there, which is not something we always see at this price point. Quite a bit bigger than house number 1. And then straight ahead, Jordan, we've got the full bathroom.
Full bath, you've got the floating vanity, beautiful quartz top, you've got the darker plumbing fixtures that just flow throughout the home, and then tile, floor to ceiling.
Now, a couple nice things about the placement of this bedroom. First, it's on the opposite side of the master, so it creates more privacy, more separation there. Second is it's tucked behind the kitchen, tucked behind the garage. So even on this side of the house, it feels nice and private. And then third, the upgrades in here. I mean, the carpet, the pad, super upgraded. It's like walking on like memory foam almost. And then we've, of course, got the black windows inside and out, even at the back of the house. And the reason that matters is because black windows are more expensive. Sometimes at this price point, we'll only see them in the front, and then everywhere else is white windows, but they spent the extra money. You'll see them throughout the house. Now let's take a look at the deck. Jordan, take your pick. Which of the doors do you want to use?
Let's just use the single door. It's a little bit lighter, easier to operate.
We have problems with the slider doors in almost every home. It doesn't matter how many times we do it. We almost always lock ourselves out thinking we're unlocking it, but very beautiful, beautiful outdoor living space. So this is a walk-up, walk-out lot. You're going to see the sunken patio downstairs. What that means is you get this covered deck. You've got composite decking. And then not quite a fortress rail, but a wrought iron style rail here, which is great because you don't have a bunch of wood that's taking up part of your view. And then something we never see at this price point, which is the built-in fireplace, stone, floor to ceiling. It's dry stack, there's no mortar, and you even have the brick style splash inside.
What's really interesting is the placement of that fireplace as well. They put it in the corner, and so instead of it being on the side of the home, it's in the corner. That creates a little bit more privacy.
That's a really good point. And then we'll see a little bit of that down, not the fireplace, but more of the privacy when we get to the walk up sunken patio. Now, before we get to the master, two things that we forgot to mention. I feel like we have to say, cabinets, obviously they're going to the ceiling, which is important, but you have surround sound right here, which we never see that unless you're 900, 1 million plus. We're going to see that downstairs in the lower level too. Heading this way, Jordan, look at the staircase. This is just perfectly tucked behind the entry to the master, the laundry room.
Yeah, they did a great job on the placement. It does create more volume for this room, which is really nice, but you also have a little bit of a hallway here to get to that master bedroom.
That's right. It all starts with the coat closet. This is technically for the entry. I like that it's right off the master. It just hides it really well. Coming into the master, like, look at this. Black windows, almost wall to wall, which is very impressive. You've got the shiplap accent on the ceiling with a bit of a boxed vault there. And then I know we've seen a lot of accents, but we've got more to show you. Oh, look at this accent wall.
Yep, great looking accent wall. It's very, very simple, and I love the color. I mean, they just tied it in throughout the house. And Nick, one thing I got to say about those windows, that picture window is absolutely huge, the one in the middle.
Yeah, really nice because you get some of those treetops here in Stonebridge South. And then coming into the master bath, you've got the French doors. The water closet is off to the right. One thing that we almost never see in the bathroom is ceiling accents, and we've got one here.
So, I didn't even see that the first time we walked through. That is beautiful.
I think the gold was a nice touch there. Now, both of the houses, even house number one, even though it was at $725, it had a zero entry. So does this. You got the zero entry shower. There's no threshold. You're not stubbing your toes. That is like very, very important thing that not all builders do. So it's nice to see that it's included in this house. You've got the huge oversized double vanity. It's floating with the downlighting below. And you've got that same exposed wood grain on the cabinet doors.
I love the look of this lighter.
I really like that. That might be one of my favorite stains that I've seen. And then freestanding tub, you've got the black hardware, huge window there. And I know it's very subtle. I'm not quite sure what to call this, but you do have paneling, like a modern wainscoting almost.
It's almost like block trim. They just turned it on its side.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's got a really neat look to it. And then the master closet. So a couple things. One is you've got this huge dresser right here, the stained top, matte black. I don't want to say black. It's got a hint of navy to it, the darker enamel color. And then they certainly upgraded these rods right here. Usually they're chrome or silver. It costs more to do this. And then you've got storage everywhere. Final thing, the laundry room. It's nice that it's connected to the master. And then I love that you've got this prep area right here. The thing that they did additional is you've got the two built-ins. Usually all we see is just one of them. And then Jordan, if you can get a close-up of the kind of patterned linen style tile there.
Yeah, very cool. It almost has a weave feeling to it. That's pretty neat.
Very neat look.
Before we head down to the lower level, I have to show you some of the features in this staircase. So look at the posts here. Extra wide. We don't normally see things like this. It's trimmed out beautifully. They did the enamel paint on this lower portion of it and then stain on top. It just takes more time, more material, and more cost to do that. The other thing is high tread carpet in the stairwell. We talk about it all the time. It's a must have. And this has a lot of texture to it as well. Now, before we show you this beautiful rec room, we're gonna run through the bedrooms really quick down here. You do have a long hallway, which is nice for the privacy, creates a separation. So bedroom number one, they put a huge bed in here. You do have the daylight window here, slider, black inside and out. Really nice. You do have a closet there in the corner. And then Nick, you've got the full bath.
Yep, linen closet right here, which is very nice to see. And then the full bath. You've got tile floor to ceiling. You've got the tub in there. And they even did a trimmed out mirror with the upgraded kind of gold and black fixture. And then you saw it as we were coming around the corner. This bathroom, at this price point, we fully expected this to be a shared full bathroom. This one has an ensuite private bath. So there's the bedroom right there. You've got the walk-in closet around the corner, which is a pretty good size for a lower level secondary bedroom. And then this bathroom is, I know the light fixture, it's a little crooked. I know you can see that, but you got the nice dark enamel color. Then around the corner, you've got beautiful tile on the floor to ceiling tiled shower. And Jordan, they added a matte black sliding door there, which is very impressive.
Oh, wow.
So one thing that we noticed coming this way is look at all these recessed lights.
Yep, ton of recessed lights in this rec room. Not all builders include those in the build. The other thing that Nick touched on when we were upstairs, you have the surround sound built in down here. Perfect for the rec room. You know, you're watching the Chiefs game or the Royals game or just some Netflix. And then I think one of the most impressive parts of this lower level is this kitchen bar area.
Yes, so you've got this accent wall, which just pops off the wall, very similar to what we saw in the master, and then it complements the bar very, very well.
Yeah, so you have this peninsula. You actually have 2 levels to it. So on the inside of the bar here, they do have some outlets on the backsplash.
Look at the underlighting here under the slab. Very, very impressive at the price. Cool.
So I love the uppers. They did the glass in the doors. It's a very good look. They've got the floating shelf in between. I love this vertically laid tile. I think it's got kind of has that glazing look to it. It's very, very pretty. And then that's a wide bar as well, Nick.
That is a wide bar. I'll trade spots with you for a second. I do want to show you've got a cabinet cutout spot in the cabinets, or a microwave cutout in the cabinets right there. And then this is the splash, the 2-tiered setup that Jordan was talking about. Now, final part of this tour, this is technically a daylight lot. And what that means is that typically we only see the daylight windows in like the bedrooms, in the rec room, etc. Usually on this type of lot, we don't have the walkout, the exit, but they forced it. And the reason that matters, especially if you want to build a home from the ground up, if there are almost always going to be a limited number of walkout lots that back to a tree line or in the location that you want, just because they're really rare and highly sought after. But one thing you can do to expand the number of options that you have, so you can look at some daylight lots and then force the walkout with a sunken patio and stairs up. And that's what we've got right here. So huge 8-foot sliding doors, just like we saw upstairs. This is really impressive for a lower level. And then coming outside, and by the way, the only reason we got those open is because we went through this beforehand. Otherwise, we would have cut right there. But this is what we've got. So we've got the concrete walls. It gives you a little bit more privacy. That's because we're below grade. And then we've also got, they always put a drain in here. So if any water, snow, etc., you're not having to shovel it out or anything like that. The nice thing about this is we are right under the covered deck, and we'll put some drone footage on the screen right here. And then all you have are these 4 simple steps up with the wrought iron railing. But that's all we've got for this video. There are tons of new home communities around Kansas City, tons of builders. They're all bringing more and more lots to the market, as well as homes that are already finished, just like house number 1. Any questions buying or building a new construction home in Kansas City, please give us a phone call, text message, email. We'd love to put the best options in front of you, sort through whether it makes sense to build or buy, and make sure you get the most value possible. So feel free to reach out anytime. There's also a guide linked down at the top of the description. It's over 30 plus pages. It might be up to 50 here by the end of the week, but we're constantly adding everything we learn about new construction, building, buying new homes in Kansas City. So you can access that for free at the top of the description. 2 things on the screen. We've got a playlist of all of our property tour videos, community videos, and then we've got the video YouTube things you'd enjoy the most. So click there or here, and we'll see you on the other side.